Just when we thought we had our next 2 weeks planned out, then this happened.
We have an excessive heat watch that goes into effect tomorrow, and temperatures could get up to 110 degrees.
We were en route to one of our most anticipated locations in Washington before heading into Canada when we realized we were driving straight into a week-long heat wave with temperatures in the hundreds. We looked in the surrounding areas to see if we could somehow escape this heat wave, but unless we wanted to drive 5 or more hours, there was no way out of it. So we just decided to stay put and ride out this heat wave and see where it takes us. Luckily, there's a forest nearby where we can actually camp for an extended period of time because it looks like we're gonna be here for about a week.
Last night we found this impromptu campsite, but I don't think it's really going to work for us, even though it is in a decent amount of shade. We are right on the side of this gravel road. So what happens every time anyone drives by, we have to close all of our windows so we don't get dusted out on the inside, and that doesn't help keeping it cool whatsoever. So the goal for today is to go find a campsite elsewhere, hopefully that has some good shade coverage, and possibly we'll be able to find one down by the river that we're semi next to. That's what I'm going to head out and do now, and maybe with a little bit of luck, we'll find something good. Taking the one wheel in case I don't find anything. Jelaine can stay back at our existing campsite. We can kind of like keep that on reserve. It does seem like this place is filling up pretty quickly though. This one's not really too bad. It's in the sun a little bit, but I think we might be able to pull over there in the shade even, and super close to the river. So call Jelaine and see what she thinks.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing.
Hey, you know that spot like down by the bridge kind of? The one where it kind of forks off and there's a couple sites down in there?
Yeah.
You can see the river from the site.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to like roll down here or what. I'll stay here.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
All right, looks like we're going to claim this one, even though it kind of is in the sun. It's not like too bad. It's just this little bit. So I'm hoping I can like pull over here in the shade and make this our home base, because getting dusted out just isn't going to work for us. And it's also loud when cars go by at night, and you have to like hurry up and shut the window so dust doesn't just completely fumigate the van. I'm hoping this will solve all of those problems at least. Not to mention the river.
Gabby, Daddy found a campsite. Come on, let's go. We found our campsite and we've already had someone pull in thinking it was empty, and it's not. So what I'm gonna do is set out some chairs in the visibility. So like when you pull down here, or when you're on the road back up there, you can't really see our van. So I'm gonna put some chairs and a table out. That way people know someone's here and they don't have to like come into the campsite and then have to back out because someone's here.
Gasoline on hidden desires.
Finally, what we're most excited for, getting in the river and taking a shower. Because yes, we have a shower in our van, but we don't have a ton of water right now, so that limits our shower taking, and we definitely want to keep all of the water that we can for drinking water, just because of how hot it is.
Let it burn. Let it burn.
The river felt amazing once we actually got used to the water, because it was pretty cold and really hard to really just like submerge yourself. But we did it. We feel a ton better now that we're semi-clean. The sun's starting to go down. It's starting to cool off as well. So we're gonna try and get our van cooled off. So we're gonna move it around and kind of get it more in the shade and hopefully get it cooled off. got up early this morning to go to the grocery store before the heat kicks in really bad so we can leave Gabby in the car. And we've got to get food so we can ride out this heat wave. Hopefully our campsite's there when we get back. We didn't have anything to like leave there to like claim our spot or anything like a tent. We didn't want to leave our chairs in case someone did come by and snag them. But hopefully it's still there. It's still early, like it's 7:42 right now. Hopefully we can get in and get out and get back to our campsite. Our campsite was still here. Thankfully, I was really worried the entire time because when we drove out of here, we were like, oh, we really do have like the best campsite. We didn't want it to be gone. So we were happy to see that still here. And we kinda did a little bad thing.
Even though this site is pretty shaded, we do have big slots like this and over here that the sun does poke through, so we spend a majority of the day playing musical cars and just constantly moving the van around here. It's kind of a double-edged sword because we're not getting to charge up from the sun with our solar panels, but also it's kind of necessary to keep the van as cool as possible for us and Gabby as well. Really, the worst part about all of it is the temperature in the van in the evening. It just doesn't cool off. And I don't know if that's because we insulated so well and we just can't get the hot air out of it fast enough, and also the exterior temperatures aren't really cooling off that much. Generally, we've been trying to stay in areas where it's like 50s and 60s in the evening, and it's been in the 70s here, so it's super hard to get things cooled off at a reasonable rate. Just because it's in the 70s at night, don't think that it's not hot out. It's at least 95 out right now. And the temperature variance in this area is just so crazy with this heat wave because next Tuesday, it's supposed to be like 69, which is generally about the average temperature for the area for this time of year. So this heat wave, man, it's really throwing a kink in our plans. One thing I'm super happy about is that we finally sucked it up and bought some trimmers for Gabby, and we gave her a haircut a couple of weeks ago. So now we're not feeling quite as guilty about her being hot, especially now with these high temperatures. And that should be the final place for the van for the evening. Fortunately, right now we have a little bit of cloud cover back here, so it's not quite so overwhelming with the heat. So we are trying to soak that in as much as we can. Even though we don't have like an actual designated swimming hole or anything like that, it is nice to go down to the river and rinse off and dip your head in and at least get all of the sticky off of you that you've accumulated throughout the day. I think we're about to get rolling on dinner, and I don't think it's going to be anything that we actually cook. That way we don't heat the van up or anything like that. So I'm sure it won't be anything too terribly exciting.
Avocado tacos are definitely a staple item. We have them, I don't know, twice a week, if not more than that. They're just super simple, easy, no cooking, which is right out my alley. So.
Not to mention they're perfect because we don't have to cook them, which keeps the van nice and cool because we're not using our propane oven, which is a win-win if you ask me. Well guys, it finally happened. Parking in the shade for 4 days has finally caught up with us. And I thought yesterday when we went out to the grocery store that we would get charged up a bit, but we just took a look at the solar panels and they're just absolutely covered in dust. So no wonder that wasn't an effective tactic. And also just to show you like how much dust we've been sucking in unintentionally. Let's see. Look at all of that dust on our fan. And the one in the back is just the same. So Jelaine is up on the roof currently cleaning our solar panels. We're not completely out of battery, but we couldn't make coffee this morning. The espresso machine does pull a lot of juice. So we don't have to worry about like not having lights or not being able to use our water pump or anything like that, but it would be nice to have some go-go juice to get the day started. Well, this is what we resorted to. We're getting like no charge at our campsite, even in the little patches of sun that were there. So, guess we're going to hotbox the van just so we can have some power, because regardless of having lights and all of that, didn't really think about our refrigerator, and we just bought a ton of groceries yesterday, so definitely don't want to lose those. So we're just going to leave it out there in the sun for a few hours, and we're just going to chill in the shade at the campsite. So van life. This is van life.
If you wonder why we have no idea what our batteries are at, it's because we don't have a battery monitor. We have one, it just doesn't work and hasn't worked from the beginning. Well, I take that back, it did work. And then it started like cutting in and out, and now it's just completely gone. We bought an RJ45 cable, but it was the wrong type of cable, so we had to send that back, and we just haven't been back to the store to buy another one to see if it's the cable or if it's the actual monitor. It's been about 40 minutes or so. I'm gonna see if there's enough juice to give us our coffee and run that espresso machine, because the coffee seems nice right now. So here goes. All right. Double for sure. I think it's gonna work. I think we've got enough juice. Woo! I need my coffee. We're on an incline. Got a little carried away there. So good.
Me gusta.
We've got a little bit of a patch of sunlight in our campsite, so we're gonna move the van and stick it right here. That way we can actually open the van up and start cooling it off, because when I was in there just a little bit ago, it was 85 degrees. Ben's heading there now to grab the van, so we'll see what it is when he gets there. What's the temp?
The temp is H. Whenever it hits 90 degrees in the van, our thermostat says H. I don't know what that means, high, hot, both. It's hot as heck. But yeah, so at least the sun hit back in the campsite now, so we can move the van down back from the road and at least open things up and get some type of circulation through here, and we don't have to worry about getting dusted out anymore. Even though this heat wave really threw a kink in our plans, it has been nice to kind of slow down and take it easy for a bit. And it's also made us really appreciate the great weather that we've had the entirety of our trip. One other bonus is it's allowed us to cut our costs down on driving around so much as well. If you haven't seen our video about how much it costs to live in the van and travel full time, click into it here. I think this is all for this week's vlog, and we'll see you next week. Bye.